Greetings, Toastmasters. Recently I've gone on to level 2 in the Pathways program. And like almost everyone else, the first project in level 2 is to give a speech on leadership styles. Hopefully you aren't getting bored. When I began this project, I remembered my time as a Boy Scout, specifically when I was a senior patrol leader. Back then, I would often have to give orders to the younger scouts to actually get their stuff done. And I went to great pains to try and keep everything in order. Thus, I was expecting the survey for my preferred leadership style to be either pace-setting, which is based on efficiency, or bureaucratic, which is based on orders. Surprisingly enough, however, the survey said that I was mainly democratic. I found this a bit odd, but I realized the reason for the discrepancy. Even though I preferred the democratic leadership style, the situation often required that I use a different style. That is what I will be speaking on today. For this speech, I will be speaking on a few different leadership styles, and more importantly, when it would be best to use them, based on what I've read and my personal experiences. To start off with, I would like to speak on the democratic leadership style. For those of you who may not remember, that leadership style is based on the consensus of the group, and collaboration between members. For example, in Boy Scouts, we often had to create what are known as meal menu planners. These were just plans for what we'll be having on a camp out. The way we would make them is that we would get the troop together around a table. We would go over each meal and we would simply ask what people wanted to have for their meals. We would say, all right, we're doing Saturday breakfast. What do you want for Saturday breakfast? Eggs! Another person might say, sausage! We would write it down, and then later we would decide as a group whether we should have these things based on things like desirability, whether we could afford it, and who could actually make it. As indicated by this example, the democratic leadership style is best used when the knowledge, skills, and opinions of the whole group is needed for a decision. In this case, since everyone was going to be having the same meal, we needed to make sure that everyone was okay with the meals that they were getting. Thus, we made sure that everyone had an input as to what they should have. This style works especially well if you have the time for it. But what if you don't have time? What if the decision is best made right then and there? Then, a bureaucratic style might be preferred. For reference, this style is based on the enforcement of rules, immediate compliance of orders, and discipline. It's what I tend to default to when I gave orders. For example, when we got to a campground, one of the first things we did was pitch tents, carry your supplies. This needed to be done, and we prefer to do it quickly so that we could get to more important things. I had a rule. You can talk as much as you want while you do this, as long as you actually work. Unfortunately, some of these younger scouts prefer to talk instead of work. And so thus I would often have to walk up to them and say, hey, stop thinking around. Get back to what you were supposed to be doing. If they didn't know what they were supposed to be doing, I simply told them what needed to be done and sent them on their way. This style works best if the decisions must be made quickly. For example, in this particular case, we found it best to get everything done quickly, just simply have someone lead the group and tell what needs to be done. Sometimes, however, time is not an issue, but instead other factors are an issue, such as personal relationship. For example, in the coaching style of leadership. For a reminder, this style of leadership is based on preparing others for the future and helping them reach their full potential. For example, when we had to teach younger scouts new skills. In Boy Scouts, you're expected to try and learn certain things, such as tying knots, first aid, or even simply how to be a better citizen. Thus, we would sometimes have what's called advanced work, where we pull a scout to the side and just simply taught them what we felt needed to be taught, usually from the Boy Scout handbook. This style, we would do this to help try and make them better Boy Scouts and better people in general. This style is best used in a one-on-one setting when the individual is ready to learn. This way, the individual is hopefully encouraged to do better and learn more by themselves and reach that full potential. These aren't the only leadership styles. In fact, in the Pathways project, there are 8 listed, and I'm fairly certain that I've used all of them. While I may not be comfortable using an authoritative or an affiliative style, I've had to use them nevertheless. It's all dependent on the situation. Leadership is more than getting people to do their work or helping them lead themselves. It involves using all the styles of leadership and knowing when to use them. As I've learned, a leader needs to be able to lead in whatever way necessary. Thank you.
Well,
Yes?
fellow Toastmasters, I'm going to be totally honest. I know that this is part of a planned speech that everybody in Toastmasters must do. I know this because I've sat through these leadership topics before. And I find this topic to be painfully boring. But I'm glad that you were able to put a personal twist on it that kept me focused beyond just for my evaluation. In particular, I enjoyed the personal stories you told about your time in Boy Scouts and the examples of what people wanted for breakfast and how that is reflected in your democratic leadership style. I also liked how you brought us through your thought process as you were trying to figure out your own leadership style. It allowed us to get to know you a little bit better, and it allowed me to understand the process in evaluating leadership styles a little bit better. And it caused me to reflect on whether I need to reassess whether leadership styles are something I should pay attention to. And it made me think about what my own leadership style might be. As far as speaking, I noticed that you have great vocal variety. You can start up high at the beginning of a sentence and work your way down low, and you can kind of narrow in on a subject and speak softly to us, and that helps people stay engaged. I also noticed that you have great hand gestures, though I will say sometimes this motion got a little repetitive, and you used it a few times, but overall, they definitely added to the speech. If I were to critique the speech in one other way, I would say you could have thought a little bit more about how you were going to organize the speech. It seemed a little choppy near the end. You seemed to kind of jump around a bit, and then made it a little bit harder to follow. So if you could just assess from the beginning all the way through the end how your speech is going to flow a little more, that would be helpful for the